Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Meg, and this is Ger Can Get It. This week, Ger plays an immortal with a serial killer submerged personality who rides around in a convertible with the top down, who caused the death of his mortal lover Jeanette, and who asks his immortal best friend to kill him with a sharp, pointy object. Do you think we're talking about Forever Night? You'd be wrong! This week it's a Highlander!
If they gave awards for makeouts on screen or stage, this guy would get a lifetime achievement. He'll find any excuse to get right to sucking face. You honestly wouldn't believe it. Dissecting each and every kiss with tongue. There's only one conclusion to come to. It's that Gare can get it. Gare can get it.
I like it. It's accurate though. Yeah.
It's accurate. The more
Yeah.
I watched it, the more I was like, wait a minute. And then
Wait a
like when I
minute.
saw the convertible, because I forgot about them driving around in a top-down 1960s convertible, and I was like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, he's
And
got a type,
this is between season 1 and season 2.
which
So
I
I
don't
wonder.
understand. Like, how did you grow out a nerdy mushroom cut? Like, how did you go from super hot Nick Knight haircut to mushroom cut back
Oh.
to Nick Knight haircut? Like, how?
So you know that scene in Interview with the Vampire, the movie with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise,
Where the
where
little girl cuts her hair,
the
and then
little
it
girl
grows
cuts
back.
her hair and then yeah. Except that's like his weird shaggy mullet that he grows, and it like I feel like his hair just tends towards that no matter what you do. And if he doesn't cut it every 24 hours, this is what his hair looks like.
So what you're saying is he is in fact an actual vampire, at least as far
Yeah.
as his hair goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this week, as spoiled by me 35 seconds ago, we are talking about the Highlander TV show. So we're talking about season 2, episode 3, called Turnabout. It's from 1993. And Rachel, I have a sneaking suspicion based on, I don't know, your tattoo, that maybe you're like a little bit of a Highlander fan. So
Yeah.
for anyone who, like me until yesterday morning, had never seen the Highlander movie and doesn't know anything about Highlander, can you give like a brief, here's what Highlander's about, like a little synopsis?
Sure. So if you just discount the movies and we only talk about the television show, because the movies and the television show have entirely different lore, the television show is just about a bunch of immortal dudes who theoretically, according to season 1, episode 1, are in the middle of this mythical confluence called the Gathering, where they're all compelled to come together and kill each other. But since there appears to be at least 6 episodes worth of killing one immortal per episode, um, I don't know how fast that's supposed to be acting. So basically, there's just dudes that are immortal and they don't have superpowers. They're just immortal. And the only way to kill each other is to cut off each other's heads. And so they all carry around swords, improbably located on their bodies at all times, whether they are wearing a jacket or not, which, given the size of men's pockets, it may just be in their pocket.
As women, we're
And
not allowed to have pockets, so we wouldn't know.
yeah, and actually in this episode, we have just been introduced and are slowly learning more about a secret organization called the Watchers. And the Watchers is what Joe Dawson is, and that's why he knows who the immortal guy is. And that's how he knows who Adrian Paul's character, Duncan MacLeod, is.
So do the Watchers, do they like hunt down the Highlander people? Like that's
No.
what I couldn't, okay, so they're just like aware of them?
I think it's maybe season 3. We start like the opening credit starts to get like a snippet about the Watchers where it's like, I am a member of a organization known as the Watchers who are tasked with like observe and record but never interfere. So they're not supposed to know they exist. Like the immortals don't know the Watchers exist. And they just like chronicle what they're up to.
Is there ever, I know the answer to this is going to be no, because it's the 90s and they don't give a shit, but like, is there ever any explanation for like why the immortals are immortals and what their deal is? And like, is it like who made up the rule about that whole, what do you call it? Is it the gathering where they kill each other?
The Gathering, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the movie, that was their like attempt to tie it into the movie, because in the movie is about the Gathering and how all these immortals are coming to New York to kill each other. And at the end, there's only one of them left, which doesn't work out because there's a lot more than one of them left, according to the TV show. So you just kind of have to pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And
But I
it's
like
just,
didn't get it. I feel so like when I watched the movie
yeah,
and then at
you
the
don't
end
have to
when
get
it's
it.
like he gets all the world knowledge, but he's no longer immortal. Did I get that right? Like he's now a
Yeah.
human man, but like he just knows everything.
Right, at least until Highlander 2, which nobody liked, so everybody forgot it existed, and then we went straight to Highlander 3. We went 1, 3 because 2 doesn't exist, and then in 3, he ends up becoming immortal again. And then in 4, they just completely forgot that all the immortals had been killed altogether, and then there's just a bunch of immortals, and then I think there's another one, and then there's one called The Source, where I think we actually do talk about where they come from, but it's, like, weird and post-apocalyptic, and Adrian Paul's character, Duncan MacLeod, is like a superhero. So, um
Okay, so this TV, so they don't give it. It's just it's like whatever we felt like that week, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. You thought Forever Night couldn't keep track of its own mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although the best part about like the television shows slash watchers slash where do we all come from is they do kind of try to address it, because the watchers have been around for a really long time. And there's this one mythical immortal named Mythos who's like 5,000 years old, and he's like the oldest living immortal. And they're always trying to find him because they're like, he'll know. And the watcher tasked with finding Mythos is Mythos. So Duncan goes to find him because he's trying to find Mythos. And he's like, hold the fuck up. Are you Mythos? And the guy's like, what better place to hide than being the one that looks for myself? And he's like my favorite character. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so you don't okay, so you're not just a fan of the Highlander movie, like you've seen the TV show then.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched this
Oh.
episode before.
Oh, well, I had no idea. For everything else I've presented you with, it's just here's some
It's
random bullshit
90s trash. Of course, I have watched this. Wait till you get to season 4 where he goes back to his homeland and we have this whole story arc where he like finds his ancestral sword that says McLeod on it, and he has to defeat this bad guy.
You know I'm never watching another episode of this.
Oh, you will. You will.
Which is terrible because like I was so excited. I was like, people love Highlander. People have this like soft place in their heart for Highlander. And I was like, I have watched this episode with Ger a couple of times, like to prepare for the podcast. I was like, I'm gonna watch the movie and that'll give me like some like well needed background information. And I feel like so I watched it and I feel like, you know, when you watch something and you're like, I get why this is beloved, but it is not beloved by me. But you're like, I get
no,
why.
I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Although, like, can we just, this is like not at all related to this episode. Like, I will get to our actual episode in a second, but like, I am still blown away by Clancy Brown, A, having been an on-screen actor before he was a voice actor, because I had no idea. B, being like 9.5 feet tall. C, having been like kind of handsome when he was young, like even under all the weird like makeup shit they put on him. Like, I mean, not that he's ugly now, but like he was like more handsome than I anticipated. But also, how is it that he has always had the voice of a 65-year-old man, even when he was like 32 in this movie? Like he was in his 30s at least.
Mm-hmm.
How is his voice always like? It's not just that it's deep, but it's like old man rugged. Like I don't
know.
I thought literally when I started watching it, I was like, oh, did Clancy Brown dub over this young handsome man? And then when I paused it, and there's like, nope, that's Clancy Brown as Clancy Brown doing Clancy Brown. I was like, what the fuck?
He gets some good lines too. Hi, I'm Candy. Of course you are. And then
yes. Well, and like,
I have something to say. Yeah.
I feel like when spoiler alert, Ger plays a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde character in this, because why the fuck not? I feel like when he's doing his evil voice, he's kind of doing a Clancy Brown impression a little bit.
It's the Ger evil voice. We just need to put it on his characteristics. Anytime he has to do an evil voice, including in Forever Night, he just drops his voice and he's like, oh yeah, I'm so evil.
I feel like I have mentally blocked out any time that he's evil. And like even in Forever Night when he is like sucking neck, I'm like, he had a reason, it's fine. Like but like I know that like some of the things that we will be watching are things where he's just like straight up the bad guy. So like I am Like, I'm not looking forward to rewatching Hypercube because that thing is a piece of shit. But like, I know he does that voice in Hypercube a little bit.
Yeah. Because if you're evil, it's an octave lower. It's never like the suave, slightly higher pitched evil, like the debonair evil. It's always the I'm so evil.
Well,
like
it's because he's so debonair normally. If he was going to make himself extra debonair, it would be too much.
He's like, too hard. I can't go there. I can never come back.
It would be so erotic. Crimes would just be committed all across the country. Just erotic evil.
So true.
In this, Ger plays both Quenten Barnes, who is the evil character who briefly has a mustache, and like, thank God you only see the mustache like up close and not like his face with the mustache, because like it was a real bad mustache.
Like, no,
it was real bad. No more bad facial hair.
Mustaches. Yeah.
Well, like, I have feelings about mustaches, like, when they're, like, not fully glued to your face. Like, just when they're, like, partially just half-assed on there, which is kind of how it felt.
Yeah.
So,
or chest hair. Like, it just falls down, sticks to your chest instead, and you're like, well, now I have chest hair.
R.I.P. Ger's chest hair, which...
which is not even his chest hair.
I can't this episode. Okay, so Ger plays... as we said, he plays sort of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So the bad character is called Quenten Barnes, and he briefly sports a mustache, which thankfully we never have to see on his full face because it would be too much.
Thank you. Yes.
And his good character is called Dr. Michael Moore, and I'm like, Michael Moore was definitely like a public figure in the 90s, so that's an interesting choice to just randomly, like, do you know what I mean? Like to randomly choose like a celebrity name for your character. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't a lot of Highlander leftist political crossover. I don't know. Anyways, so the episode starts with Ger's evil character getting executed by electric chair. It appears to be, based on like comments everyone makes, it appears to be sometime in the 70s, and we know that he's killed 2 women, and we never get to see his full face, just like a weird too much close up of his mustache, and Ger just like we said, doing his evil Ger voice. And like, here's like the first thing that like I don't get is like when people talk about this execution later in the episode, they're all aware that this guy was an immortal and so can only be killed by his head being chopped off, and they're like, yeah, but he was electrocuted and like stuck in a box in the ground, and we knew he'd come out like eventually. And I was like, fuck it, like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such like a weird
rules. There's like rules, and every once in a while they pop up, and they really only pop up when it benefits the plot. Like, they can't fight on holy ground. So if he was in like a churchyard, they couldn't, because they said were remodeling the chapel and they dug him up. And so if he's on holy ground, they can't challenge him or fight him on holy ground.
But he couldn't like unbury himself in holy ground?
I mean, he could. I mean, if he could have gotten out, but maybe he was in like a really good coffin. I don't know. They don't always come back right away. Like if they drown, they stay dead until somebody pulls them out. It wouldn't be like
okay. So he might have been like temporarily. He might have been sort of dead.
Yeah, he could have stayed dead until he was like able to reanimate, and then he would have like.
I thought nothing could hurt them, and he was just like fake playing dead in a coffin for 30 years for funsies.
They die. They just get better.
Oh,
they get better. Yeah.
Is that a characteristic? I feel like dying but getting better is maybe a thing that happens to him a bunch. Okay, so that helps me understand it a little bit better. So that's where the episode starts off. Is Ger's character sort of dies, semi-dies.
Yeah, gets better.
And then we meet like the main characters of the TV show. So you'll have to correct me where I'm wrong, because I'll be wrong frequently because I don't care about this TV show. So I know. The main guy is Duncan MacLeod, the Highlander, which before I started watching this, I thought all the immortals were Highlanders, but I guess he's just an immortal guy from the Highlands of Scotland.
And he's not the guy from the movie.
I know, right? Because that guy's Connor MacLeod, right?
Connor MacLeod.
Yeah, I learned a thing. Neither one of whom can do a Scottish accent for more than 30 fucking seconds.
Yeah, well,
whatever.
At least Adrian Paul spoke English.
I know. Okay, so the movie was. I keep talking about the movie. I'm sorry, but I finally have seen it after like 40 years, and I'm so confused by it. But like when they did the flashbacks with the Connor MacLeod character in Scotland, I thought his Scottish accent was actually fine for the few seconds he was speaking.
Yeah.
But then in the present, his English is terrible. And I'm like, but how did you?
Well,
How
that's
was your?
supposed to be that. You remember the line, "You have a funny accent, Nash," and he goes, "Where are you from?" Lots of different places. He's supposed to sound sort of amalgamated.
He sounds like a Frenchman who's never spoken English before, which I think
Right. Well,
is
yeah.
because he. But
So they
like
just
it just,
worked it in.
I guess, but like it's weird to me that like when they were like do a Scottish accent, he could do it for a couple of he couldn't do it for like a lot of lines because you could hear it kind of like disappear after a little bit, but for a couple of lines
Yeah.
he held it. So I was like, it's weird that you could hold it sort of. And then they were like, well, let's have you do it a little bit. And then in the present day, we'll just let you have your fucked up voice. And then so for the Adrian
Yeah.
Paul guy, isn't he? I mean, if he's the Highlander, he's also supposed to be from the Scottish Highlands, but no accent there, just orange skin and a ponytail.
Just Adrian Paul. Well, I mean, honestly, if we're at Sean Connery, who plays the Egyptian
Oh
man
my
who was
God.
actually Spanish, who they sent to Spain to learn a Spanish accent. And he just came back and was like, "I'm sorry, but did no one tell you hired Sean Connery?" And just sounded Scottish.
I don't understand any of those casting choices, although I did enjoy Sean Connery in that movie. Like
Juan
I did enjoy
Villalobos Ramirez. Yeah. You know. Ramirez. Everyone just calls him by a Scottish name too, or a Spanish name, even though he's actually Egyptian.
It did feel like a movie that like the premise was we don't give a shit, and then they're just like we're gonna go from that premise.
Yes.
Anyways, it's oh my God,
and it spawned like 6 movies and a television,
which I don't understand. I mean, I understand and I don't understand because it's like an adventure and it's got like the full on like 80s like adventure vibe and like
Queen soundtrack.
Yeah, the special effects were kind of fun and different, but like. I don't. It's so confusing. Anyways, it's the movie. You should watch it. Everyone should watch it. But like, it was a weird fucking experience. Anyways, so in this, so we've got Duncan MacLeod, the Highlander, who is just. I feel bad for saying this, but like, you know how some people are handsome regardless of their haircut? This man is only handsome when he does not have that janky ass ponytail. Like, there's some flashback scenes. Yeah. When the flashback scenes, I was like, oh, he's actually handsome. And then as soon as that little baby foxtail pops up behind his head, I'm like, Anyways.
Yeah.
So orange. And I don't like white guys who are really into martial arts. It's like a whole vibe.
It didn't feel great in the 90s when I watched this. It doesn't feel great now.
I was like, I'm not into this, but it's okay because the episode knows I'm not into this and it will make up for it. So, okay. So with gifts, beautiful gifts. Okay. So Duncan MacLeod, the Highlander, he runs an antique shop with his, I think, French girlfriend named Tessa, or I think they're like trying to get the antique shop up. They like haven't opened yet. And then Richie, who I looked up on Wikipedia and they said that I guess right in an earlier episode, he's a thief or something. And then he like becomes their buddy. Yeah. But he has like, I think the actor is probably also in his late 20s, early 30s, but he has like 35-year-old man playing a 17-year-old man vibe. He has like teen sidekick vibe to him.
Yeah. He's got that like quirky young sidekick energy played by probably the same age as Adrian Paul actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is visually a choice. Okay. So, Duncan MacLeod, girlfriend, adult teen sidekick. And then there is, sorry, you said they're called the Watchers. Is that what Dawson is? Okay. So then there's the Watcher. There's the guy who's the Watcher. His name is Dawson and he's like a sort of a Highlander. I had him as like a cop, but I guess you're like, he's a Highlander, not hunter, watcher. He's a watcher of Highlanders.
Of Immortals.
Of Immortals.
The guy who plays Joe Dawson actually lost both legs in 1972. So he's also a blues musician, and later on in the series, he leaves the Watchers and he opens a blues club and he sings a bunch.
I mean, that's a weird career choice. But also, is it bad if I say that like his oversized jacket and his haircut make me believe he would be a blues musician? Is that weird?
That's fair.
Like,
yeah.
So okay. So there's the Watcher, there's Highlander the Immortal, there's his French girlfriend, there's the adult teen boy. They're all hanging out. And then there's like a bunch of, I'm not going to go into like all the different martial arts scenes. All I'm going to say is that Duncan MacLeod and or Adrian Paul I'm guessing Adrian Paul, is, I guess, super into martial arts, which thankfully was not a part of the Highlander movie, which was my favorite part of the Highlander movie, that it did not include sweaty men doing martial arts.
Well, this is like the same year as Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. I feel like this was a moment for the martial arts. Yeah.
Yeah, sweaty orange white guys doing martial arts.
Yes, correct. David Carradine.
So, yeah. Which we'll get to when Ger guest stars in one of those episodes, which I watched it like on fast forward to make sure I had the right episode for Kung Fu: The Legend Continues, and I think he plays a mentally handicapped character, so like we're just gonna have to.
No, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, get ready for that. It's gonna make the kid from Forever Night look like a fucking Tony Award winner. Anyways, all right. So, the Watcher guy Dawson comes and sees Duncan MacLeod doing all this martial arts bullshit, and is like, "Hey, Quentin Barnes. Turns out he crawled out of his grave, and he's killing people who were involved in his execution." So he's like, he wants Highlander to like be involved and like get rid of him. And like weirdly, Duncan MacLeod like is aware of Quentin Barnes, but like has never seen him, but like knows who the guy is. He's never seen him. So I'm like, all right, whatever, sure.
They kind of all know each other. It's a small club.
I guess it's like how vampires always know each other.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. Well, that guy, dickhead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know him by reputation.
So Duncan MacLeod's like, I don't give a shit. Like, yeah, I knew he was like fake dead, but like, I don't want to be involved in, like, I don't care. And he's like mad. Do you know why he's mad at the Watcher? Do you remember anything from before this episode?
They've just met, and it's a very, I forget exactly how they first met, but it's a very like, you mean you've been watching me for like years and writing down everything I do? That's creepy as shit. Like, don't talk to me. I fucking hate you.
Oh, okay. So just being weird about him being a stalker. Okay, that's fair. So he's like, yeah. So anyways, he like begrudgingly is like, whatever. Because we find out later that he has like made an oath to sexy nerd Ger that he would kill evil bad Ger. So, all right. So he's like, all right, I'll be involved, whatever. So we find out that Barnes has killed the priest who was at his execution. And we like get to watch that a little bit, but like, who gives a shit? And then we find out that he has killed the prosecutor who is now a judge, but the prosecutor who sentenced Barnes. So like he kills two of those guys, and every time that Duncan MacLeod and Michael Moore show up, they're like, they're just 2 seconds too late. Whatever. So when we get to the second killing, to the judge killing, there's a note there from Barnes where he's like, "Now I've killed all them. I'm going to come after you, Michael Moore." Like, ugh. And like, it's not super clear. Like, he kills everyone involved in the execution, and we find out that he had killed a girlfriend of Michael Moore's, but like, there's no reason ever given in this for why he would be like going after Michael Moore. I mean, like, I guess like I'm gonna somehow kill your spirit, and I'll be the one in your body, maybe. But like, it's not. In terms of like them being separate characters, it's never really explained to me like why Quentin Barnes would want to kill Michael Moore, but he just does, and we accept it, whatever. So
yeah, it's fine. Are we gonna gloss over how they first meet? Like, he walks out, and then we get the cute little caption. What did it say on mine? It was like supernatural buzzing. The like where they sense each other, and then they both have their swords, and they're both wearing like crew jackets. Like,
I am just about to discuss the Michael Moore character. Okay. So we start off with Quentin Barnes has escaped from his hole in the ground, and he's killing people involved in his execution.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So then we meet Dr. Michael Moore, which is Ger doing hot 90s nerd, which it turns out.
It's real hot.
It's real hot. It's real hot. I should have known.
There's no logical reason this should be as attractive as it is.
Well, so for me, I understand it, and like this is TMI, and I might cut this from the episode because it hurts. As a kid, I was like super into Rick Moranis because like I saw him in Little Shop of Horrors.
That's fine. I think you should leave that in.
Everyone should know. So I saw him in Little Shop of Horrors before I saw him in all of the like 90s stuff where he plays a dad. So he was Seymour Krelborn, hot, sexy florist nerd before he was, I don't know, was it Wayne Zelinsky, the Honey, I Shrunk the Kid's dad?
Yeah.
So like, I had feelings. I
So this is really hearkening back to a real
Yes!
special Rick Moranis moment.
A
Yeah.
special
Okay.
moment for me because they have the same like 90s round glasses
Oh,
and
yeah.
like the like 90s dad mushroom cut and the like 90s dad button up and the Dockers, and I was like,
Oh my
no.
God, he is like a who's who of dad 90s fashion in this
I
episode.
know.
And I am not mad.
The members only jacket.
Not mad.
Oh God,
His
I
little
don't.
rainbow button up with the shit.
Oh!
I want that. I want that shirt so bad.
For you or for Matt?
I mean, both. Why not? I can accessorize it with a lady vest. He can put a sweater vest on it. Like, it'll be fine. Everybody's pleased.
Oh my God. This episode has like the highest highs and the lowest lows of fashion for him. But in this moment when we first meet him, yeah. So Highlander, he hears like a weird buzzing, which I guess is how he knows another immortal is around.
Yeah, they can sense each other.
So he's like, what? Like fucking like vampires, I swear to God. So he's like, oh, yeah. What? So he pulls out from nowhere his giant katana sword or whatever. And then Ger lightly hops down from a ledge and he's like, what? Like, I'm here with my little sword. And he's got his sword and his full on 90s hot dad moment. So we both blacked out a little bit. And then they're like, oh, hey, you're my old buddy. I'm your old buddy. Let's go get lunch. And I was like, oh, 90s fashion. So yeah, he's got the members only jacket and the plaid and the dad glasses and the dad haircut. And like, I just no notes, just so good.
None.
I will note that like, so this entire episode, Ger is like running around a lot and sword fighting a lot and like doing a lot of action. They never change him out of Dockers and loafers. So kudos for whatever blisters you had to get. Like, thank you for whatever blisters you got running around in loafers.
We appreciate
for
your sacrifice. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And whoever put him in those Dockers, I'm just going to say thank you. Thank you very much. Because they were real good. They were real tight. They gave him, I never noticed on like Forever Night or anything else that he has bubble butt, but in this perfect bubble butt. And I was like, what? Oh no, 90s, 60s, 90s dad. Okay. So we find out that Michael Moore has been, I'm just going to call him Highlander because I don't feel like saying his name over and over. So he's been Highlander's best buddy since
Duncan?
At least Duncan. Yeah, what a Highlander. Since the 20s, when he was a psychiatrist at Thornhurst Institution, which appears to be some kind of a mental asylum. And I like the idea that, like, I know in the movie, like, the Highlander there was always, like, taking the birth certificate from dead kids and, like, just changing his identity every so many years.
Yeah.
I like that Ger's character was like, I'm going to do that, but also I'm going to go to med school because I got nothing but time. Like, I just like that he, like, as a hobby was like, what if I'm a psychiatrist? So he was a psychiatrist briefly in the 20s. And we find out that Quenten Barnes killed Michael Moore's nurse girlfriend, whose name is Jeanette. Which is fucking perfect.
But she says Jeanette when
they
ask about it. Yeah.
I know. He has to put a little French.
Everyone else is like Jeanette, and he's like, Jeanette? Yes. My Jeanette. I'm sorry, it's reflex. Ooh, can't help it.
I love this so much. This whole episode just feels like someone was a Forever Night fan, was like, what if? And they just like wrote this, and he was like, yeah, I'll do that. Whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bubble butt pants? Yes, I will. Okay. So we find out that Barnes killed Michael Moore's nurse girlfriend, Jeanette, in 1921. So Michael Moore was like, oh, I want to hunt him down, but he's like, hey, McLeod, hey, Highlander, if Quenten Barnes kills me before I can kill him, like, I need you to, like, avenge me. And Highlander's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So literally at this point, this is where in my notes I was like, full 90s single nerd vibe. Oh, okay. So let me just scroll past my like text orgasm. All right. So we have, so as I said, so we've got Quenten Barnes and he's going after people who were involved in the execution. And every time that McLeod and Michael Moore get to the crime scene, they're like right after Barnes has left and they're like, darn, whatever. So they go back to the asylum, the asylum that Ger's character used to work at, to find Barnes. So they look for him. They find out that he's gone, and then Michael Moore's character disappears. And I just want to say that as soon as they pull up in the Cadillac, Highlander is like, "Hey, man, go around!" And I was like, "Go around, go around! What is this?" It's the Forever Night catchphrase. I get so excited.
He said it.
I was like, "Oh, yay!" Anyways, the guy who doesn't drive the Cadillac has to go around. That's just how it
This
goes.
is the rules. Yeah.
Yes, this
the
is the rule.
rules.
So Michael Moore's character disappears. So McLeod's like, oh, he disappeared. Whatever. So he goes back to the antique shop, and it's like the writing on this is like a little. It feels like the scene is not necessary, but they're at the asylum. We lose Ger. So McLeod goes back to the antique shop. He gets a phone call from Barnes being like, I'm at the asylum. So then we go back to the asylum, and we find out that the Watcher, I wrote Highlander Cup, but the Watcher got one of the Watchers, not the main guy, not Dawson, one like another Watcher, a junior Watcher guy, has been killed and stuffed in a closet. So while Highlander is doing all this, we go back to the antique shop. So we're like back and forth because peak 90s pacing. So we're at the antique shop. Ger shows up and he's all wounded and he's like, so he gets taken care of by Tessa. This is his second scene getting taken care of by Tessa. In the first scene, he's talking about Jeanette and how much he misses her and how he's like, I don't think I'll ever find love ever again. And I'm like, probably not, because Jeanette's pretty great. So Tessa's like, no, I think you're definitely going to find love again. So Ger does his patented kiss you on the hand while making full eye contact. And I was like, sir. Okay,
isn't this when they go for a walk?
Yeah, they go for a little walk. And you get to see full-on Dockers from the front, back, and side. Yeah.
Which is real nice after that awkward as shit lunch they had together.
Yeah, under the little umbrella there.
Yeah, where he's like, I've just been trying to figure out what it's all about. And I think Duncan is like, oh, yeah, and Quentin Barnes. And he's like, oh, yeah, and the guy that murdered my like girlfriend. And it gets real awkward and real weird. I don't know.
It feels like any kind of a lunch where you've got your new friend meeting your friend from 40 years ago. And also your friend from 40 years ago was hunting a serial killer. Like it just,
those.
Those lunches.
We've
all been there.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
We've all been there. So also Ger was sitting down. So like his best asset was hidden. So
this is true. This is why you didn't discuss it. You were like, skip.
Pass, skip. Not important. Not important. So, okay. So in the first scene, we've got her being like, yeah, you're definitely going to find someone again. Like, don't worry. And then he's like, oh, like, you? And so he like bends over. He does the full on hand kiss while staring directly in her eyes. And I was like, oh, yeah. Sir.
You can't help it.
He is.
He was overcome.
But she's French. So she's like immune to all this. So I'm like, yeah. Right. So then we have the second scene where he shows up at the antique shop. He's all wounded from his air quote fight with air quote Quentin Barnes. And he's talking with her. So she cleans his wound and she's talking to him. And he keeps taking off his glasses, but clearly they like kept intercutting a bunch of different takes. So like his glasses are like in his hand, on his face, in his hand, on his face, like back and forth and back and forth. But every time he's trying to be erotic, the glasses come off. It's like the funniest fucking like I'm not a nerd anymore trope. And I love it so goddamn much.
It's like the Ger pick me girl moment where he's like,
yes, oh my God. I'm actually beautiful. Let me take these glasses off.
Let me take the glasses off. It's like I'm a whole different person.
So every time he takes the glasses off, he's like, I fucking her. And then like the glasses go back on. He's like, gentle nerd. And then glasses come off. I fucking her. And he's going like full on Ger magic, but she is so French that it doesn't even penetrate. And I was like, oh.
Like, deflector shield.
I literally wrote my notes. I wrote, she's French and dating a gross, sweaty Highlander with a ponytail, so she is not affected by any of this. And I was like, she's just made so many bad choices that it's built up a layer of grime that Ger's sexo-vision cannot penetrate
and
through.
She dies in like shortly after this, I think. And it's a real dramatic and really sad episode. So
what you're saying is if she'd left with Ger, this all would have been avoided?
Well, she doesn't. It's okay. I don't know. It's fine. This television show's really old. I'll spoil it. She dies like just in a regular like mugging. Like she doesn't die as part of like a Highlander thing. She's not taken hostage. She's not she just dies in like a random accident.
Do they make it like when Buffy's mom dies, where it's like it's more meaningful because it's a regular thing?
Yeah, because it's like you think it's going to be something big, and it literally is just like this thing that happened. And
well, good for you, Highlander show.
Yeah,
you denied this actress the chance to make it with Ger, and then you brutally fucking kick her off the show later. Just
she wanted to leave. Move. She wanted to leave.
Oh.
Yeah, because her family was all in France, and she was like, I'm gone for like months at a time. I want to go home to my family.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you still could have gotten a Ger makeout in there before you got on the plane, but like,
I mean, yeah. He was right there. He was kissing her hand. If she just leaned in, he would have gone with it. He would have improv. It would have been fine.
I want to see what was on the cutting room floor for this episode. They just start like,
oh, I know the
fucking
dailies
against the tree.
Like,
So, she is so French and so into gross, sweaty ponytail man that like all of Ger's just intense eye fucking just bounced right off of her like Wonder Woman with bullets. So, a woman not wanting to fuck Ger makes him so goddamn crazy that he becomes evil. And I was like, yeah, okay, no, this feels right. It's so confusing that he's like, oh, I can't. He gets like a headache. He literally starts getting a headache and is like, I can't handle this. It's too much. I need some aspirin. And then like 30-year-old teen is like, do Highlanders get sick? Do immortals get sick even? And Tessa's like, that's actually a good question. And Ger's like, in the bathroom. I was like, it's not because he's an immortal. It's because he's Geraint Wynne Davies and you just turned him down and like his body has never been rejected. He doesn't know how to handle it. So
his soul is trying to leave his body. He's like, I can't do it.
So, it makes him so crazy that an alternate evil personality comes right out. He comes out, he beats up Richie, he chokes Tessa. She's like, you led me on just like Jeanette led me on, and that's why I, Barnes, had to kill Jeanette for Michael Moore. And then he's like, here's my exposition, blah. And we're like, oh no, so sad. So McLeod comes back, there's a whole bunch of like sword fighting. It starts at the antique shop, and then I guess the antique shop is like down the road from a train yard.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure, why not?
Always.
So then
always.
Yeah, everything is, centrally located next to a train yard. So they like sword fight out the door. They sword fight down the street. They sword fight down an alley. They end up in a train yard. Ger, like I said, is doing all this in Dockers and loafers. And I literally wrote in my notes in all capital letters, tight Dockers, full 90s bubble butt. It is the only reason to watch this. Because like, okay, so I will say, do I think Adrian Paul is a good actor? No, I do not. Do I think he is a decent sword fighter? Yes, I do. He is a decent sword fighter, and like Ger is always doing Shakespeare, and he's always doing any other shit that involves sword fighting. So like, he's a good sword fighter. So like the sword fighting scenes, I thought were pretty good. Like they were engaging, and like the ducking and dodging and rolling. Like I thought like, yeah, this is great. Except I feel kind of bad for Ger because Adrian Paul is wearing, I think, like sweatpants and like a muscle shirt because that's kind of how he's dressed the entire episode, like a fucking himbo.
He
so
wears
like
button ups the whole episode.
Poor Ger, yeah. So it's like
no, Adrian Paul. I think he's wearing like jeans and a t-shirt at the martial arts gym, and then he's in like a loose button up for the rest of it.
Was he? I remember seeing him in like a weird undershirt.
I think in
like
your
a
mind,
weird,
he's just wearing gray sweatpants and like a sweaty undershirt. Like
yes,
it's the ponytail. The ponytail blinds you to what
maybe, possibly. But I remember. Oh, maybe it's at the gym. He like takes off the button down, and then he's got like the sweaty undershirt underneath.
Yeah.
I remember.
No, he's got a jacket on. He takes the jacket off, and it was clearly too hot for that jacket because he's already sweaty.
Yes. But like, all I mean is that like, it seemed like Adrian Paul, they dressed him in clothing that was like more appropriate for like doing a fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. But he's got to do this every week. So yeah.
Yeah. But still, like, I mean, you're doing that scene more than once, and like they dress Ger like a middle-aged dad going to pick up his kids from soccer practice.
Oh, I think he's even wearing a sweater, like a button-up.
Oh my god!
At one point,
okay. So, like I say, this episode gives and it taketh away because they put him in the bubble butt pants, which thank you. They give him the cute 90s mushroom cut. They give him the cute 90s like big round glasses, and the like not actually ugly cute 90s button down shirt. Like I'm here for all of it. Yes, and then when he shows up at the antique shop when he's wounded and he's like, I need you guys to like help take care of me, and then he goes on like full evil. They give him this old grandma like sleeveless cardigan down to his waist, and I was like, fucking why? Yes. Why are you covering it? Why are you covering up his best assets with like a grandma, someone's like mom knit this for you blue?
Should he have a crop sweater? I don't know. I just fine. I don't okay.
Yes, and well, like okay. Like, no, put him in a full sweater. I don't care. Put him in a full shirt, but like it was a full on. I've never even seen an old man wear this kind of long sleeveless cardigan. It's an old woman's sleeveless cardigan, and
right, because it's open in the front. It's not like a sweater vest. It's like open in the front. Yeah, it's a knit vest. Yeah.
Why? But anyway, so I was extra impressed by both. Like, I mean, I know he's a good sword fighter. I'm like always impressed by his sword fighting, but he did a good job sword fighting. I was impressed that he had to do that in fucking Dockers and loafers and a button down and like you got to be sweating your balls off, man. And like the other guy,
he had to keep switching characters the whole time too, because
which I thought was good.
Yeah, and then he'd be like, "Oh no, please just kill me, like kill him before Quenten comes back," and then he like turns back into Quenten, and he did good. That was a compelling scene.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments where he didn't even have any dialogue. He just had to throw himself against a tanker car and switch his face from the evil Quentin Barnes to the gentle Michael Moore and then back to evil. And I thought he did that. He did a good job with that, like without even having any dialogue. I thought like he was good at going like, and then like I don't know, his face.
He did a good job. Yeah,
he did a good job going from like cute nerd to like not Clancy Brown to back to cute nerd. So I was like, okay, good job. So they do a lot of sword fighting. At one point, they have Ger on top of a tanker car, and they have him with like a metal oil container, and they have him throw it at Adrian Paul like Donkey Kong. And I was like, sure, why the fuck not? Have him go full Donkey Kong. That's normal. It's the 90s. So they're fighting. So they fight in the shop, down the street, at the train yard, and then they end up in what looks like an airplane hangar. Which sure, that's at the train yard. Why not? So McLeod traps Barnes in the hangar and stabs him. And when he stabs him and Ger's on his knees, it brings out the Michael Moore personality. And Michael Moore is like, you promised me that you would get revenge for me for Jeanette by killing Quentin Barnes. And the only way to kill Quentin Barnes is to kill me. So just fucking do your job, man. Kill me. So McLeod's like, I'll feel sad about it, but whatever. It's the end of the episode. So he pops off Ger's head. Ger's body falls on the floor, ass end up. And so the rest of the episode, you just get like full on, there's no head, there's just like flat body and like little bubble butt. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, Ger. Thank you, director. You knew what we wanted to see. You gave it to us. Thank you so much. One thing I was not expecting, because so when I first watched this episode, I had never seen the Highlander movie. So like I didn't know what to expect at all. But like after watching the Highlander movie, when they kill people in the Highlander movie, they seem like they absorb their power with electricity, but it just seems sort of like, I'm getting a lot of power in my body. Like, that's kind of the vibe I get. This version with Adrian Paul, he seems to be having a full body screaming orgasm, which I was not expecting. I was not prepared for.
The quickening.
A quickening was happening, certainly.
Yeah.
It was too much. In an episode with Ger and Bubblebutt for a podcast called Ger Can Get It, I was made viscerally uncomfortable by how aggressively sexually Adrian Paul was like, I was like, oh no.
Well, he does it every episode, so.
Oh my God. That was more
episode.
Like, okay, in Forever Night, he is full on making out with women every 35 seconds. That was less sexual than this man standing by himself fucking lightning jizzing. I don't know.
Lightning jizzing.
It was too much for me. I was embarrassed. I have a delicate constitution.
I have not had an honest Highlander conversation with someone who is unfamiliar with Highlander in so long. This is so entertaining, because I feel like if you like Highlander, you just go for it. You're like, all right, well, we're fucking here, and you just watch all of it, and then you forget how objectively
how insane
weird
it is.
So much of it is. And by the way, they're remaking the movie, and it's coming out next year, and Henry Cavill is going to be the Connor character.
As much as I would love to see Henry Cavill do a lightning jizz, I hope that he takes more from I don't remember, is it the French actor who plays
Christopher Lambert?
Thank you. Who plays original Highlander. I hope he goes for more of a full body taking in electricity and not a full body shooting out lightning jizz.
I don't care. I don't care. Either one.
I cannot sit in a movie theater and watch Henry Cavill jizz out lightning. I will cry.
We'll do it. And we'll do it together, Meg, like all good things should be done.
You thought I grabbed your arm when we saw Ger do his play. You thought I was squeezing you hard. If I see Henry Cavill lightning jizz, I will rip your arm right off. It was so uncomfortable for me. It was so, because okay, I am not exaggerating, correct? For people who have never seen Highlander.
It's a pretty dramatic moment. Yeah, there's usually lightning, things explode. Yeah. There's dramatic music. He's screaming. He usually falls on his knees and he's like, ah. It's a
Yeah, but
lot.
it's not just like I am being full of energy, which is like what the vibe I was expecting. It was I am full of energy and I am creaming my pants. I was like, sir, I don't. Sir.
I mean, that's one interpretation, sure.
That is exactly what he is doing. I am not exaggerating. You know it is true.
Now you know why they have watchers.
That guy had 2 legs before he saw Adrian Paul do that the first time.
It flew off. Just gone. It was the ponytail.
God.
It's the ponytail.
Oh, the ponytail is so heinous. It is so, and like I don't always mind a guy with like longish hair. Like I am here for like that 90s vampire mullet cut. I admit it. I fully admit it. I am okay with it. But like there's something about when he gathers it into that little fat ponytail and his orange skin and his super sweaty I just did kung fu vibe, and I'm just like not into it.
No.
Not into it at all. But
Alas.
like I said, they gave us, in exchange for me watching that man electric jizz, they gave us Garen tight dockers and those glasses and that mushroom cut. And it turns out I'm into a 90s daddy, and I have to accept that about myself, which is not good. I can't get that anywhere. It's like being into a dinosaur. Do you know what I mean? Like there's that's not going to be, that can't be sexually fulfilled. That can't happen.
You just got to find the right person who's willing to cosplay for you. Be like, okay, now I need you to look like Rick Moranis had a baby with Garrett Davies, and I need this.
Those are such different vibes. I feel like, do you ever like think about the things that you're into and you're just like, the fuck is wrong with me?
I just try not to think about it. I just go with it. We're going to get a reunion of these 2 people anyway, because aren't they together in Tracker?
They might be. That's one of the few things that I have gathered, but not like previewed.
Yeah. Adrian Paul
right.
is the alien tracker, and then Garrett Davies is his like LaCroix.
It's like the evil bat. Yeah. Do we know if Adrian Paul has the ponytail?
I don't think so. I think he has short hair.
Thank God.
Because he has short hair by the last season of Highlander as well.
When they do that flashback to the 1921 moment when they're at the asylum and like they're talking with each other, they do Ger dirty. They give him like a weird alfalfa haircut or like alfalfa brush on his hair, which whatever. But like for Adrian Paul, they're like, well, it's 1921. He wouldn't have long hair, and they like put a wig on him, or they tuck his ponytail somewhere, and he looks decent. I was like, oh, you're actually not the world's ugliest man. You're actually a very, very handsome man. No, like he is. It's I don't know
hair. It's the hair. Yeah,
but it's weird though because like it's. You know how there are some people where it's like, oh, you are more handsome like this and you are less handsome like that, but like you can still recognize their like base handsomeness. For some reason with Adrian Paul, with that ponytail, all I can fucking see is that ponytail, and I'm like, I can tell. But then without it, I was like, oh, you're like super tall and muscular, and you have like good bone structure, and like your head's a good shape and shit. You're very handsome. You're like, I can see why you were hired as the main like handsome love interest, martial arts dude for this show. I get it. But as soon as that ponytail comes out, I'm like, bury him in a hole. Bleh. Anyways.
Yeah. It's like Marshall in The British Being Human and his hair. Like, I think that actor is very attractive, but every time he has the sweaty, weird, nasty hair, which is the entire season, I can't stand it.
I feel like Aidan Turner has the exact opposite effect on me of Adrian Paul. Because Adrian Paul is handsome, but if you style him like as a sweaty martial arts guy with long hair, I cannot see his handsomeness.
Right.
But for Aidan Turner, I didn't realize until after Being Human was over that the like black undershirt and the sweaty greasy hair and the like fingerless gloves and shit, that all of that was meant to make him look like sort of skeezy and sort of like creepy, like there was style, like there was a purpose behind all that styling, and I couldn't see it because of how fucking handsome Aiden Turner was. I was like, you can wear him in a fucking garbage bag. I am not, whatever you want me to get from this costume, lady, I'm not getting shit. I am getting full on hot vampire face. You could dress him however you want. You could make his hair look even greasier than this. I don't care. It's working for me. I am here for this because I am such a gross little animal. I was like, yes.
I mean,
And then,
it's
like,
fair. It's fair.
And then afterwards, like I saw like some interview or something where Aiden Turner was talking about the little fingerless gloves and how it was like part of the character, and how like at first he was like, I wasn't really sure about it, and then like I put on the costume for the character and I was like, okay, I'm getting kind of like a vibe of like his whole thing, and I was like, there was a costume? Nope. Nope. Just passed me right the fuck by.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so back to Ger. Okay, so characteristic wise, he does voices. He has weird fake facial hair briefly for like a hot second.
No wigs though.
No wigs as far as I can tell. Yeah, that's his natural beautiful mushroom cut poking through.
Mm-hmm.
Sword fighting, that's a characteristic. Kissing a lady on the hand while giving her full eye contact. I feel like, I don't know if it will become a characteristic, and I sort of hope not, but like I think an honorary characteristic should be a woman rejecting him and him becoming evil. Because, like, not just becoming evil,
comprehend it.
Him becoming just fucking so confused. He's like, you led me on by being here, and I fucked you as hard as I possibly could. Him eye fucking a French woman, that feels sort of like a tangential characteristic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Are there any other characteristics he's got the sword fighting, he's got voices, he's got the kissing.
He gets to do his like goofy flirt smile where he does his like,
yeah, now he
like,
did
his like eyebrow bounce smile. He does that at the lunch.
Yeah, he
yeah.
Hot nerd action.
There's a woman right there. He's like, sorry, I gotta do which my son has this same hair color, and like and he does the same, like, I'm gonna get away with literally everything with this smile.
Oh, that's dangerous.
I know.
It's a good thing that you only met Ger the one time, as far as we're aware.
This is I don't know why he's blonde. I'm not blonde. Matt's not blonde. Nobody else in my family is blonde.
You watched enough Forever Night that it like seeped into your genes.
Infected my DNA. And this is good because I'm going to be armed later when Amos is using this. I'm going to be like,
no, you won't be armed because you've had 30 years of falling in love with that fucking bullshit smile.
Well, I know. Maybe that's why he just does it and you're like, all right.
Okay. Well, you only set the car on fire. It's okay.
Yeah.
Mommy loves you.
You've met him. You know the smile.
He does have a very winning smile while verbally abusing the shit out of me.
In a way only an 8-year-old can. Yeah.
Anyways, so, okay. I feel like this is one of those episodes where, like, did I sort of enjoy the whole episode? Yeah. Like, Ger's in it a whole bunch. I liked all the Ger parts. I liked how they, like, tried to pretend like it wasn't a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, like, with the least amount of effort fucking possible. They're just like, you'll never see the bad guy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he looks like, you'll have to imagine. And I was like, is it Ger? Because, like, when we see him in silhouette, it's clearly Ger's silhouette. So, and when I hear his voice, it's Ger's voice just going down an octave.
Yeah.
So,
and he's the only guest starring Garrett Wynn Davies. And I was like, they should have put a second guest star, like Gary Davis. And you're like, oh, who's that? Oh no, it's his alter ego. Who knew?
And they had to pay him twice.
Yeah.
So, like, but, like, do I ever want to watch any more Highlander episodes? Like, after this, like, not really. I mean, like, I would give the movies a chance. But, like,
the movies are worse.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
worse in all the best ways.
Does anyone have electricity jizz in the movies? Because, like, then I can give them a chance. But, like,
they get more and more like the TV show as time goes on. Just because the TV show ran longer.
God, well, but, like, in that one particular way, because like I'll give it a chance. I just can't watch anyone else like jizz their pants with lightning.
Well,
I
it's
just
pretty
can't do it.
obvious when it's coming. So just fast forward past it.
I know what you just did there. How dare you? That's getting left in.
Yes!
Terrible. Terrible. This is a classy podcast. How dare you?
It's a classy podcast. Right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's
classy.
not.
So like I don't know. Like in terms of like
This is making me want to
overall-
watch all of Highlander
I
with
know.
you.
Okay.
Like,
I will do it with you. I will watch it with you for a podcast.
Okay.
I will not like casually be like, you know what I should watch? Highlander. Like no.
Yeah.
But like for discussion purposes, I would do a Meg and Rachel watch the Highlander movies and TV show and whatever.
What I need to do
want.
is rewatch it and pick out the highlights because it's 6 seasons.
I
So
will
it's
watch
like-
6 seasons of hot garbage with you for a purpose, but
Okay.
like not for like funsies. This is it's hard to rate because I feel like we've watched some things that were just like, I didn't enjoy them at all. They were bad. And we watched some things where I was like, oh, I really, really like this. They were good. And then we've watched things where like, he's in it so little, but the part that he was in, I liked. So I was like, I don't know, like a 3. This is just sort of like, I really liked how they dressed him. And I liked that, like, I got full on hot 90s nerd dad. And I think
Yeah.
it's funny that like, when a French woman won't make out with him, he immediately becomes Mr. Hyde and has to murder people. So like, I don't know. I guess out of 10 sloppy wet kisses, I don't know, like a 5. Like it's a lot of Ger content, but it's not a lot of characteristics.
Yeah.
I don't know, just like a 5, like a solid 5 sloppy wet kisses out of 10, where I'm like, I liked his bubble butt, I liked his little glasses, I liked that he did like, I'm a hot nerd voice. It turns out that's the thing I'm into, which I found out while watching Highlander. But like the show itself was sort of like Republic of Doyle, where I'm like, I get why people would watch this and be into it, but like I sort of don't care about any of the characters.
Yeah.
And they're like interpersonal whatevers. Like I don't know. So yeah, like a 5. Like a 5 sloppy wet kisses, a solid,
Okay. A solid
respectable 5. Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to go 3 raised eyebrows out of 5. And I'm going that high because we've been watching a lot of stuff where he's either A, not in it very much, or B, when he is, he's not doing any Ger stuff. Like Ikwe was as far from, it was almost a return to Deadly Harvest. So at least in this we get the smile, the eyebrow raise, the hand kiss, the like, I am in proximity to someone with 2 X chromosomes, and so therefore I must flirt with them the entire time, whether it's called for in the script or not. And I think I'm going to go with that for that.
Look, he be
Because-
what he be.
Yeah. He was having a really good time.
Oh, clearly. Anytime you
Yeah.
see him sword fighting, like I like that how anytime when he's sword fighting, even if his character is meant to be like super serious, he looks like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
Like I'm
'cause
sword
he's getting
fighting on top of a train. Like
Yeah.
ah.
Yes. And that whole train scene was really, like, I liked that scene where he was flipping back and forth. And so he got to be actor. He got to be his like dramatic, over the top self.
Yeah,
and
no, it was
well.
really well choreographed. It was really well done. I feel like anytime they give him a fight scene and a sword fighting scene, like he seems like he's very happy and he's very good at it. Like he's very good
Yeah.
at fighting naturally. I thought some of the like that first part where he knocks out Richie and chokes Tessa, I thought that like knocking out Richie was like a little bit goofy, but like when he chokes the woman, I was like, oh, this is actually
Everybody
this
knocks
made-
Richie out. It's fine.
what he said. And like it's one of those things where I can't tell. I'm like, is it because Richie is so goofy? Like, is it his response that's making the punch seem less real? And I was like, I think maybe
Yeah.
it's more of a Richie thing. But when he grabbed Tessa by she's wearing a necklace or a lanyard or something. When he grabs her across the counter and is choking her, I was like, oh, this is like, you've actually made this like goofy Highlander shit. All of a sudden it feels like a little bit more real, like a little bit serious. Like I
Yeah.
like that, like there's an actual air of danger where I feel like normally if it's like the guy that can't die and he sword fights on top of trains, I'd be like, oh, okay, what's gonna happen? Like, but like
it's kind of
when-
like an anime. You know how in an anime, every time they fight, suddenly they're in a giant open plain where there is nothing and no one?
yes.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because we have to do the lightning jizz at the end, and we can't
God,
destroy things.
I hate it so much. I hate that. Like, I like the bubble butt on the floor, and like that's all I could focus on. Because when I would look back at Adrian Paul, being like, "Oh," I was like, "No, sir, no, thank you, no, just don't. That's not where the lightning goes. Just don't.
That's
No,
not where the lightning goes.
Um, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Lightning jizz.
No, stop. I don't want to talk about the lightning jizz anymore. I don't want to talk about it
Why
anymore.
did they end up in the train yard? Oh, because they always do.
Oh,
like,
no,
train yard, abandoned
sword
building.
Fighting. Yeah, I thought the sword fighting was good. I thought the like I liked that there was that one scene where Ger was being menacing to the human woman because it felt like she was expendable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like there were stakes all of a sudden because like the rest of it is just immortal versus immortal. And like, okay, either one of you is going to lose your head or one of you is going to like run away and be like the villain for next week. So like, who cares? And like, if the Richie character died, he's annoying. And like I said, like a weird 35-year-old, 17-year-old. So like, if he dies, like, I don't care.
Well, he does die. He got better on the show because I'm an immortal.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. Later though. Not right now.
Well, at this moment when watching him, when I thought he was a mortal man and there was a chance of him dying, I was like, I don't give a shit. But when it was immortal Ger versus mortal girlfriend and the Highlander guy wasn't there to protect her, I was like, oh, like this feels like stakes. They weren't around the rest of the episode. Like, even though we know that bad guy has killed 2 human men, like they're not human men that we know. So like, I don't care. And like, we know he killed a girlfriend of somebody, but that was fully 70 years before this episode starts. So like, I sort of don't care about that. I mean, like, it's like, okay, I know he's a killer, but like, you haven't given me any like current tension, any like current stakes at all. So I like that there was at least one little scene where there was like, oh, maybe like something will happen. And like, of course it like fizzled out because it's the 90s. And anytime I think that like something with consequences will happen, of course it doesn't happen. But like, I was like, okay, like, thank you for at least giving me the shot at that, the like feeling of that. I don't know. I thought that was pretty good, but like,
yeah.
On the whole, I will swear before you and all podcast listeners that if you want to do a Highlander deep dive, I will do a Highlander deep dive because this seems fully bullshit insane.
Oh yeah.
But like, would I on my own choose to watch Highlander, having now seen only the first movie and this one single episode of the TV show? Probably not, because it just seems so all over the fucking place.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like, do I like Ger as an immortal with a beloved named Jeanette who rides around in a Cadillac and gets killed by something long and pointy? I kind of do. Yeah, I kind of do.
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to look at this one objectively because I like
Highlander. I know. You're so fucking into Highlander.
I have a watcher tattoo and everything. Yeah.
Well, it's good. I mean, I'm glad that we finally saw something that wasn't physically painful for both of us to watch.
Yes. Yeah. This was nice after Ikwe. Like, ooh, good palate cleanser. Now we can do some of his more unhinged roles.
Oh,
we can segue.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What are we doing next week so everybody knows? They have time to track it down.
Oh, they're not going to be able to track this stuff down. I think next week is going to be Baxter. I think I need a palate cleanser for me personally. So next week is an episode of Baxter. I believe, I don't have it in front of me, I believe it is the series finale, which again, the show didn't know was the series finale. Yeah, it's a characteristic. Yeah, he shows up and they're like, shut it down, guys.
Yeah,
shut it all down.
Down. Bye. We've peaked. We have peaked, everybody. We've peaked.
I think I found it on YouTube. Some of the kid stuff I found on YouTube. So there's like maybe a chance that if anyone wants to watch it before we watch it, there's a chance for you guys to see it. But if not, you're not missing much because it's peak early 2000s teen television.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Well, so you're not missing much in terms of like, should you watch the Baxter show? Like if you're over 11 and a half, no, you should not watch Baxter. But are you missing something by like not watching this episode where Ger plays a hot daddy? Yeah. Yeah, you are. Because the teens are into him. I don't want to spoil too much, but like the teens know what's up.
Okay, now I'm excited again. You lost me at early 2000s teens and you brought me back with Hot Daddy. So here we are.
Oh, maybe that's sort of the like that'll be our, so it's our slow path to palate cleansing. We had Ikwe, and then we had this where he's just dressed like a hot daddy, and then next week he will actually be
Like,
a
hot daddy. Okay, good. No, good. I'm in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that note, friends, remember, nobody tell him we exist. Bye.
Bye.